Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Elite TV, and I'm Danny. And today, I am bringing you my top 5 underrated zones in Classic WoW. And by Classic WoW, I mean from Vanilla to Wrath, the old world. We're not doing anything from Cataclysm onwards yet. But this is going to be Classic WoW underrated zones. And what do I mean by underrated? These zones are ones that typically don't get much love. They don't get mentioned in the top zones too much. You probably won't see a lot of these zones on some of people's most favorite zones. And I'm not saying that some of these are my favorite zones. There are going to be a couple that are some of my favorite ones, but I just feel like these are the ones that don't get as much love as, compared to a place like a Grizzly Hills, a Howling Fjord, a Nagrand. These are all zones that people really, really talk about a lot. These next 5, trust me, they don't really get that much love. So, yeah, before we get into it, though, go ahead and hit that sub button. I'm trying to get to 100 subs. Massive, massive number, 100, I know. And, hit that like button. But anyway, let's just get right into the top 5 most underrated zones in Classic WoW. 5! Syllabus. Now hold on. Let me explain for just 1 second before you leave this video, just because I said Syllabus. I know a lot of people really do not like this zone, but you know what? They've really changed it since Vanilla and have added a lot of new quests, and a lot of them give reputation just in case you are one of those achievement hunters. I'm personally not like that, but they've done a lot of upgrades to this zone, and on a personal level, I like this zone just because I'm a huge fan of Starship Troopers, and it reminds me of that movie when you're just going about killing bugs and going into the hives. Yeah, pretty lame, I know, but I also really, really, really like AQ. It's one of my favorite raids. I love the Egyptian artwork in that zone, and let's not forget, this is the zone where you get the coolest weapon in the game, Thunder Fury. 4. Ashenvale. Awesome zone. I try to go there all the time when I'm leveling a Horde character, even an Alliance character. But loads of quests to do. You get one of your first awesome blue items in this zone when you do that quest with the Blunderbuss quest, where you have to go Blunderbuss quest. God, what a tongue twister. Anyway, you got to go get the oil, the gun, the supplies from like Booty Bay. It's a bit of running around, but you do get a pretty sick blue item from that. You've got some sweet exploration areas as well, like the secret passageway to Stone Talon Mountains. Yeah, I almost said Red Ridge Mountains. That's why I was like, whoa. Then you've got the Furblock Village, where you go into their little caves up there. You can do the escort quest. And you also got you get like the Green Dragons of Nightmares, like one of the Green Dragons, not all of them. Green Dragons of Nightmare, that one, and the Demon Cave, just loads of cool little exploration areas. It's not like a huge zone, but it feels big because there's so many different little pockets of things that you can go find. And I forgot that you can go find BFD there. It's not one of my favorite dungeons, but I think the entrance to that dungeon is awesome. I miss entrances like that, like ones like that, or even you can throw Sunken Temple in there, where you have to really make your way through into the dungeon. But it's a really really cool zone, and I really suggest leveling there. Number 3, Berean Tundra, and I just wanted to put a northern zone on this because gotta cover everywhere, right? But this is the probably most underrated northern zone I could think of, because not many people like it. It does get referred to as boring tundra from a lot of people, but I don't see why. I do think you have to get past the first 10 to 20 quests just to get out of Warsong Hold. Those quests aren't that great. But once you get past that, there's some really, really great quests. You've got the one where you get to absolutely mow down hundreds of Scourge in the tank. You've got the Mists one where you see the Vrykul only in the mists. I mean, I think that's really cool. A really cool questing idea there. You've got the fallen necropolises. You've got the Scourge City, Koldara, and you've got the Tuskar down there. Even though I do think the Tuskar one off Howling Fjord is better, you do have the Tuskar in Berean Tundra, and who doesn't love Tuskar, right? Number 2. The Hinterlands. And I actually go out of my way to quest in this zone every time I'm leveling a new character. And what really actually made me fall in love with this zone was the way you get into it. It's not like a traditional path or road that gets you there. There's just a little opening in the side of the mountains, and you run through there. You gotta go past the Alliance town. Just be a bit careful if you're Horde. Actually, I think nowadays it doesn't even really matter because all the servers are one or the other. But anyway, you run past the Alliance town. There's not even really a path to follow until you get into about the middle of the zone. And you gotta follow that all the way down, then go off the path again, run down the side of the mountain into the Horde, just into the Horde village. This is all just if you're Horde. If you're Alliance, your town's right there at the beginning. I just really like this zone. I like it a lot more post Burning Crusade because all the group quests have become soloable now, and I really like the whole Jintha allure thing. I also like that there's another one of those nightmare dragons in the back, so low levels might end up running into that and being like, what the hell just happened? I just think to me it's kind of like, because there's only one path in that zone, it's kind of like an open zone to me. You can just run around. It is a bit condensed at times, but there's a lot of good quests, and especially now since post Burning Crusade, all those quests are now soloable. There's a lot of quests that give amazing rewards at the end of them. I think there's one that gives such a good trinket that I think I just stopped using on one of my characters that I'm leveling. And I think it's a very underrated zone. A lot of stuff to do here, and there's other quests from other zones that make you come here, so make sure you grab those if you're coming to the Hinterlands. A beautiful zone as well. Very, very nice. Number 1! Blades Edge Mountains. And I know a lot of people hate this zone, but this is my favorite Outland zone ever. I honestly don't know why. I know the quests here are actually quite terrible, like killing 30 ogres, doing ones that have horrible drop rates. Yeah, they're not the best quests in the world, but this zone to me just feels just really cool. It has a really massive feeling to it. It looks like it was kind of designed for flying, maybe one of the first flying intentional zones there was, because it just has a really, really big feel to it if you're running on a ground mount. There's loads of cool, interesting pockets of things like nooks and crannies. There's that pentagram quest on the east side where you got to stand in the fire rings with 4 other people and make a pentagram. There's the caves up in the northwest. You've got the Alliance town off to the left, the tunnel that comes from Zanger Marsh. And one of my favorite places in there, even though you don't actually really go there all that much, is Death's Door. Like, how cool is that? Like, you just flying over that thing just looks just epic. Loads of cool places in Blades Edge. But personally, I also really just love the layout. I love the spikes. I love the impaled dragons on the spikes. The raid is even like really well placed within the zone, in the canyon there. Just everything about the zone, as like the way it looks and feels, it feels good. And I don't know, I find it to be the most underrated like zone maybe ever, even in retail. Not many people ever talk about it, and it's always like low on tier lists, and I think it's on like most hated zones, and it's actually got a lot of quests now. It even had a lot of quests before, like not like 2 less than Terakar Forest, so I don't know why it was always, I mean, I guess it didn't really have that many, but it had enough. And a lot of them were grindy, so it was a good place to grind your levels. So I really don't understand the hate. Maybe it was the fact that it was, it felt too big to run around in compared to the rest. It took a while to get quests done there. But to me, super underrated zone. Maybe the most underrated zone of all time, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. So yeah, I think that's the end, guys. That's all 5 right there. Let me know what your underrated zones are. Please don't say places like Grizzly Hills and Nacrand. Everyone knows those places are awesome, okay? But yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you guys all on the next one. Peace.